All right, today we are jumping into a chapter from Josephus's The Jewish War that honestly reads more like a modern political thriller. We're talking poison, backroom deals, wild ambition, and some seriously brutal pragmatism. It's a perfect case study of how the fate of an entire nation can turn on a dime based on the choices of just a few people, all while the world around them is in total chaos. You see, the civil war between Pompey and Julius Caesar, this wasn't just some internal Roman squabble. No way. This was a world-changing event. The shockwaves were felt everywhere. As the Republic basically tore itself apart, with these two titans fighting for control, every kingdom, every leader across the known world was forced to make a choice, pick a side. And for a place like Judea, that choice, it was literally a matter of survival. So, let's start with a guy named Aristobulus. He's a Judean king, but at this point, he's a prisoner back in Rome. He looks at Caesar's incredible rise to power and sees his golden ticket, his one chance to get his throne back. But man, this was a high-stakes bet, and it was about to have some absolutely deadly consequences. For just a moment there, it looked like Aristobulus had won the lottery. Caesar himself sets him free, hands him 2 Roman legions, and sends him off to take back his kingdom. I mean, can you imagine the comeback? It's a total reversal of fortune. But that feeling of triumph, it was going to be brutally short-lived. See, Aristobulus wasn't defeated in some grand battle. He was taken out by poison. Pompey's crew, they couldn't stop him with an army, so they used something way more sneaky. And this one act, this single assassination, it didn't just end a man's life. It completely derailed Caesar's entire strategy for that whole part of the world. And for Aristobulus's family, the fallout was just swift and devastating. Now get this. His body was preserved in honey, a really strange symbolic end for a king whose destiny was cut short. Meanwhile, his son, Alexander, gets captured and publicly beheaded. The official charge? Mischiefs against Rome. And just like that, an entire royal line was basically wiped off the map. But, as the house of Aristobulus was crumbling, another player was watching from the sidelines. A really shrewd political operator named Antipater. He saw the chaos not as a disaster, but as an opportunity, and he was about to make his own calculated move. Antipater was a master of what we call political realignment. He knew that in a civil war, loyalties are temporary. Survival, and more importantly, success, depends on seeing which way the wind is blowing. His goal wasn't just to stay alive. It was to prove that he was absolutely indispensable to whoever came out on top. Antipater's pivot to Caesar was just a masterclass in politics. He didn't just send a congratulations note. No, he delivered immediate, real results. He got other regional leaders on board with Caesar's cause, and then, and this is the crucial part, he personally led his own troops into a dangerous battle in Egypt. He was proving his worth with action, not just words. And we're not talking about a small token force here. Antipater showed up with 3,000 armed men under his command. This was a massive statement. He was signaling to Caesar, hey, I'm not just some local official, I'm a real power player, and I can deliver you victories. And then, at the siege of Pelusium, he sealed the deal. He didn't just hang back and help out. He led the charge. He was the one who broke through the wall and was the very first man to leap into the enemy city. Now, for a general like Caesar, who valued courage and initiative more than anything, that single act of bravery, it was worth more than any promise of loyalty ever could be. So you have these two paths, right? One ends in tragedy, the other in total triumph. And these two diverging stories were about to completely reshape the political landscape of Judea for generations. The contrast here is just night and day. The house of Aristobulus backed Caesar, and it got them killed. The house of Antipater saw which way the wind was blowing, switched to Caesar at the perfect time, and they didn't just survive, they thrived. One dynasty was completely snuffed out, while another was just getting started. It all came down to timing, strategy, and some ruthless political savvy. And this, right here, is the biggest takeaway. Antipater's gambles, his political genius, they didn't just secure his own power. They cleared the path for his son. A son who would take the power his father had won and build an empire, becoming one of the most famous and infamous rulers in all of history, Herod the Great. So this chapter, it isn't just about the fall of one king. It's about the brutal, calculated rise of a new dynasty and the long, long shadow it was about to cast.